am I the asshole for not paying for my friend's eyelash extensions for her wedding? My 26 female best friend, 25 female, I'll call her Callie, is getting married in a week, and I'm one of her bridesmaids, while our other best friend, 26 female, I'll call her Sam, is the maid of honor. They are my best friends and have been through literally everything in my life with me. I can't say Callie has been a bridezilla by any means, but she does have a very specific look in mind for her special day. I was told I needed to strip all of the color out of my hair. It was blue and is now a chestnut brown, and had to get a new foundation to cover up my tattoos as well as shapewear. I did all of this because it's her day, and it's not hard to re-dye my hair after this or put foundation on my tattoos. The actual problem happened yesterday. Callie made an appointment for her, Sam, and I to get eyelash extensions because it will make the day easier, less makeup to worry about, and we all suck at putting on falsies. Callie had asked all of her bridal party if we wanted to go, and only Sam and I said yes. To put it frankly, all of Callie's savings and money is going towards the wedding, so she is currently low on funds to an extent, and Sam has never actually been good at saving money. Meanwhile, I'm decent enough that I have some savings set aside and a low budget specifically for this wedding. I figured Callie had put aside money for these extensions and didn't think about it past my money. As we were checking out with our lash girl, I paid for mine and Sam paid for hers, but Callie just stood there looking at me. I asked her what was up, and she just said, waiting for me. I asked what she meant and that we should hurry up because we had a lunch thing to get to. She said she couldn't pay for her lashes and that she thought I knew and would be paying for them. I said that I was not aware and that I should have been told beforehand because I couldn't just pay for sets of $200 lashes. She said she assumed I would just know because of how much money had already gone into the wedding, and Sam obviously couldn't pay for it. I said I would not be doing that because I simply could not afford it. If this had taken place before next week, it would have been more likely, but I can't now. She started raising her voice and dug out her wallet and paid with her credit card. Sam pulled me aside and said that it was shitty of me to not just pay for it and that I knew what this wedding meant to Callie. I said if it meant that much, why didn't Sam just pay for it then? I was told by the both of them that maybe it was best if I didn't go to lunch and that they would talk to me in a couple of days. I know that this wedding means a lot to Callie. She has always wanted to be married, but I don't think it's fair of her to assume I would pay for the extensions just because she has stretched her budget thin. However, if I am in the wrong, I will find a way to make up for this, pay her back, or something. So Reddit, am I the asshole?
I met my boyfriend's mom 4 days ago. I don't know if I'm overreacting breaking up with him because of how she acted during dinner. My boyfriend and I have been together for 2 years long distance. We met while we were both on vacation. In that time, I have met his family but only through Zoom. We couldn't meet in person due to the intensive degree program I was doing. So in the last 2 years, my boyfriend has been traveling to see me every 2 months. Now that I'm done with my program, I can pretty much work anywhere, and since I work from home, I thought I would move into my own place in the city my boyfriend lives in and continue to explore our relationship. I went to look at apartments and then went to meet his family in person for the first time and have dinner. Everything was going well. I met his parents, his brothers, and their spouses. His mom was very pleasant until dinner started. His oldest brother's wife had made an appetizer and served it. It was really good, but their mom put the appetizer in her mouth, made a noise, and then made it seem like she had to force herself to swallow it. She said something like, "That's a different taste," and made a disgusted face. There was nothing wrong with the appetizer. She then went to the kitchen and came out with the same appetizer and said, "It's good I made the same one just in case." I expected the daughter-in-law to say something, but she just kept quiet. No one said a word, and the conversations continued like it was normal. The mom with the daughter-in-law and the other spouses then helped take away our plates that still had the first appetizer on them, served hers on new plates, and told us all to eat. It was the same appetizer. There was no difference. In fact, I preferred the daughter-in-law's because hers had more vanilla. I was astounded that she did this. Dinner continued and it was all made by the mom. She kept asking how the food was and made passive-aggressive comments about certain dishes that were made before by the other daughter-in-laws. I didn't ask anything because I was shocked, but after we left dinner, I asked my boyfriend what happened. He said his mom is really passionate about her cooking and doesn't like anyone to outdo her. I said, "So does this happen at every family dinner?" And he said yes. His mom tries to outdo them. He said his brother's wives don't take it personally because they know how she is and that it's really coming from a place of love. I'm sorry, but what I saw is not from a place of love, and the daughter-in-law seemed like she was going to cry. My boyfriend finally said she's just territorial about her cooking, and other than that, she's very normal. I finally asked him when did this behavior start, and he said when his eldest brother first brought a serious girlfriend home. His eldest brother is 8 years older than him, so I asked from the time they were dating up till now, did all of your brother's partners go through this? And he said yes. I said, "Do you think your mom's behavior is bad?" And he got a little offended and said, "No, I just think she's passionate about making good food." I've been thinking on it, replaying the dinner and comments over and over in my head, and there's no way I can sign myself up for this kind of life. My boyfriend and I are starting to talk about marriage and the future and kids, and I'm very nervous now. His brother's wives have endured abuse over their cooking since the start of their relationship with their spouse's mother, and no one says a thing. Not them, not their husbands, not his dad, and not my boyfriend. How the is this okay? How can I sign my up for this level of insult every time there's a family dinner? If my boyfriend and I reach that stage, can I never cook anything? Will she always try to upset me? Will she make comments about my cooking? Like, what the I don't know if I can set myself up to walk into a toxic family situation like this. I would rather leave. I honestly am really considering breaking up with him because of this.
One of my biggest fears unfortunately became a reality. Over 5 years ago, I actually used to work at a grocery store in my city. At this job, I first started off as a grocery bagger, and then I moved my way up to be a GM, which is a general merchandiser. So I basically restock products, and then I shortly made my way to becoming a clerk, which is another word or term for cashier. I do want to mention, when I became a clerk or a cashier, I was working at that job for maybe like a year. I was about to hit like a year. In my opinion, when you work at a grocery store or somewhere where you're helping out customers, kind of start to get a feel of who your regular customers are. It was a weekday and I was working in the afternoon, and this guy came in my line. And again, remember I said I do recognize regulars? Well, I just knew that this guy wasn't a regular. At least I had never seen him. So this older man comes into my line, and in my opinion, he's one of those guys that if I were to see out on the streets, I would probably like turn the other way. Not even like that I'm judging the way he looks. It's just like the way he was like looking at me, like it was an evil look, if that makes sense. Like it was scary. Like me being alone and I see that, I'm running the other way. This man is next in my line. He had one item. He asked me like the most like random question. He's like, hey, do you know where this item is? And I was just like, oh, it's like right behind you. I don't know, it was just like weird. It's like he knew, but he still wanted to ask me. And then the second weird question that he asked me was, what is my name? And if you work at a grocery store, you're always gonna have a name badge. So it was just weird that he asked me for my name. I do understand if you want to get to know me and you are a regular, you're going to become a regular at the store, you kind of just want to have a conversation. But the way he asked me for my name wasn't just like a normal conversation. It was kind of like, oh, I want to investigate you, who are you, one of those type of conversations. Kind of just let it be, and I was like, all right, Ash, just move on, just scan his order and get him out of here. He was the type of like customer where he would just like look at you, scan his order, like he would just like stare you down. And personally, when I go to a grocery store, I don't even like look at the cashier. If I do, I'll like glance at her, but nothing where I'm like staring at her, like creeping her out. Anyway, so that guy leaves, and then later on in the night, I think I was working like a 12 to 9, and I remember this guy came around like 9 o'clock, almost time for like me to clock out. And one of the girls comes up to me and says, hey, like there's this guy, he's looking for you. And I was like, who? Like, do I know who he is? And she was like, I'm not sure, but like he was describing somebody and the only person that fits the description is you. And I was like, that's a little bit weird. Also, I do want to mention that I was in the break room at this time when she told me that this guy was like looking for me. Me being me, I was like, who's this person? I want to go see who it is. But I'm a very observant person. I'm also a very like paranoid person. So I was being sneaky about it. I would kind of just like peek a little bit, or I would go up to like the office and I would kind of try to see from the office out to the store. Sure enough, when I spot this man, I was like, dude, there's no way this is the guy that I had the weird encounter with earlier in the day. Okay, like that's weird. Why is he asking for me? Like, I'm not getting good vibes off of him. I felt very uncomfortable, and I feel like one of like my biggest fears is always like having a stalker. I feel like that's just any girl's fear, is having a stalker, right? I refused to go back out on the floor, and he ended up leaving. And tell me why the next day he comes back and I'm at the register, and one of the girls comes up to me and she was like, hey, like I think that guy is back, I recognize his car. And I was like, what do you mean? She was like, that guy who asked about you, he was like, I don't think he's walked in, have you seen him? And I was like, no, I haven't seen him yet. Why? She's like, okay, I'm gonna switch spots with you, you go hide. And I was like, oh my god, like there's no way this is this is my reality right now. So thankfully she let me out of the register. I ended up going in the very back to like the milk box area, and there's also a medicine room. So I literally hid in the medicine room, and I was like, bro, there's like no way that I have a stalker right now. Like, what in the actual fuck? Before my coworker actually let me out, she told me to stay nearby the back phone in case he leaves, that way I can come back out. And I was like, okay, cool. So I remember she ended up calling the phone, and I answered, and she was like, hey, like this guy's looking for you again. And I was like, are you serious? And she was like, yeah, like he's looking for you, and I don't feel like he's looking for you for a good reason. It's like, because it's been an hour and he's still in the store and he still hasn't bought anything. She was like, usually if you're gonna be in the store for this long, you at least have a cart full of groceries. I'm gonna probably have to wait until after closing for this like man to leave, or until I'm able to leave. So to keep my mind busy, I ended up leaving the medicine room, and I went to the milk box, which honestly is still in the back, but when it's in this corner and the milk box is on the other side. And so I just started filling up milk, because I was like, oh, I'm gonna be back here, let me at least help the closer out. I'm filling the milk up, and I just see like a hand right there, like grabbing milk or faking that he's gonna grab a milk. And I was like, bro, there's no way this is my stalker. And so I look, and sure enough, it was him. And I was like, oh, hell no. So I literally left the milk box area, and I went back to the medicine cabinet, or the medicine room, and I just stood there. I was literally hiding in between boxes. I think I even have a Snapchat. I might insert it if I do find it, of me literally hiding in the milk box. I was like, bro, I can't believe this is my reality right now. At this point, it was already closing time, and we closed the grocery store at 11 o'clock. I was supposed to clock out at 9 o'clock, and tell me why I did not leave the grocery store until almost 12 in the morning. I left that late because this man's car was still in the parking lot. He had one of those car vehicles where, like, you know, when somebody passes away, they have like that certain type of vehicle they put like the casket in and the person in. Yeah, he had one of those. Yeah, when I seen that he had that type of car, I was like, oh hell, I'm not about to walk out, and the last thing I need is for him to know what kind of car I drive. This guy finally leaves, and then I end up leaving as well. As I'm on my way home, I decided that I wanted to go to the gym, and the gym to my job was only like 3 minutes away. It was over the bridge. I walked into the gym, and I went to the squat rack, and tell me why I seen my stalker at the gym. I didn't see his car at the parking lot of the gym, and neither the shopping center, so I ended up getting down. I thought the coast was clear. Keep in mind, at this point, it was roughly 12:30 in the morning, and I was just going about my night. I just went through this situation. Let me at least go to the gym so I can let all of this out. The gym has always been my safe spot, so that is the place that I ran to. Particular night, I was doing legs. I make my way to the squat rack, and then after the squat rack, I ended up going to like the back extensions, and the back extensions at this gym was in this corner, whereas the squat rack was on this side. So I kind of made my way to the other side. I was about to do the back extensions. I freaking see my stalker, and him and I made eye contact, and I was like, dude, there's absolutely no way that this man is at the gym. First of all, I've never even seen him at the gym. I usually go at different times, so I just knew that if this guy was a regular at the gym, then I would have recognized him already. And because I knew that he was already stalking me and constantly asking for me, I just knew that he wasn't at the gym to work out. I need to stop working out, and I need to make a plan. I ended up leaving the back extension machine thingy, and then I ended up grabbing some dumbbells. I'm gonna go to the mirror and see what his next move is. I also wasn't doing full sets. I was doing squats. After I was done with that, I noticed that he ended up grabbing the 5-pound weights, and he ended up going to like a section nearby me, but still a little bit distant. Let me do one more set, and then I'm going to leave. So I did one more set of those squats, and then I remember I ended up leaving to the Stairmaster. And tell me why. He only did literally like one set, and then he ended up putting his 5-pound weights away, and then he was done. Why is it that whenever I'm done with my reps, he's suddenly done too, and he just started? Like, okay, I'm putting 2 and 2 together that he's actually here for me. I also feel like what gave it away was the fact that him and I made eye contact more than 3 times at the gym. And usually I don't make eye contact with anybody at the gym. Everyone just kind of minds their business. So the fact that this man just kept staring at me and was finishing reps whenever I was finishing reps, like, dude, if I were to start a set
and I would be done with it, suddenly he would be done with it too, and he had just started. Like, it just made absolutely no sense. So like I said, I ended up going to the Stairmaster. I'm at least going to be here for maybe like 2 minutes, and let's see what his next move is. So sure enough, this man goes to the little bicycle, and I was like, are you serious? Like, this man just started this other new set, and now he put his stuff down because he didn't want to lose me, and he went to the bicycle, which is literally like nearby the Stairmaster. So the Stairmaster is right here, and then maybe I would say the bicycle like machine is like 10 feet away. So he was still nearby me. Basically told myself, I was like, okay, I'm gonna stay on this machine for at least 5 extra minutes, and let's see what he does. He ended up leaving. I honestly lost track that I had a stalker. I was just so in tune with my workout because of everything that was going on. I just kind of wanted to zone everything out, which is my fault, but also too, it's just like, damn, I don't want to let this man control my life. So I stopped paying attention to him, and of course, because I didn't pay attention to him anymore, I lost him. I don't see him anymore. Maybe he left. Let me go to the restroom. And so after I was done, I went to the restroom. Before I go to the restroom, I'm gonna have my phone out and I'm gonna be recording. So I'm gonna walk and have my phone out like this. If he's actually in the restroom, my recording will dictate and determine if he was actually there for me. I'm going to the restroom, not knowing that he's there, but I'm just assuming at this point that he's at the restroom because he obviously was nowhere to be found in this building. And so I'm walking to the restroom, and I swear to you, he's walking out of the restroom and I'm walking inside of like the little lobby, and I was like, oh my god, like please. Continue walking into the girls' restroom / locker room, but this time when I spotted him, I made sure that I was looking down. So especially because I knew that I was recording, so whatever I didn't see, my phone was going to capture. Tell me why I go into the restroom, I replay the video, and this man is walking out and just staring at me. Like, he made eye contact with my phone camera. I'm gonna try to enter the clip if I do have the video, but it was so scary. I was like, okay, at this point, it just confirmed to me that he is here for me, because this man was like just staring at my camera for like 10 plus seconds until I'm walking in and he's walking out. And again, if I'm going to the gym and I make eye contact with someone, I'm gonna just make eye contact with someone and then I'm gonna look away. I'm not gonna just stare at them. At this point, I'm paranoid as hell. And I feel like the craziest part and the most scariest part to me was the fact that I didn't see his car. So where the heck did he park? Come to find out, he ended up parking like on the side, like on the corner. Like, there wasn't even a parking spot over there, but he ended up parking over there. So obviously I wasn't gonna see his car. I ended up staying in the restroom for 20 minutes, and then I finally walked out because I was like, dude, I have to go home. Like, there's no way I'm gonna stay the whole night at the gym. And so I grew some balls, I walked out, and then I went straight to the front desk, and thankfully there was a guy at the front desk, and I basically told him, I was like, hey, did some old guy walk out? He looks like this. And he said, yeah, he walked out maybe 20 minutes ago. And I was like, okay, perfect. Do you mind seeing if this specific car is outside, or if you see him, because I think he's my stalker. He was like, if you want, I can walk you to your car. You can just chill here for a little bit. So he went to go check outside. His car wasn't there. And then I ended up just staying at the gym for another like 10 minutes. And then he offered, he was like, do you want me to walk you to your car? Like, I'll make sure you're in your car and you're actually driving off. And I was like, yeah, that'll mean a lot to me. So thankfully he did that. W to him, because he saved my day. And then I just ended up going home. I took the freeway. I did continue going to work because the person that I am, I was like, there's no way that I'm gonna let this man know that I'm scared of him. But since that incident, I honestly stopped seeing him. Never see his car there. So I don't know if they ended up telling him something at my job, or he just kind of noticed that I wasn't there anymore. I feel like also the main reason he kind of assumed that I stopped working there was because they ended up switching me to a morning shift. So I really wasn't there in the afternoon. There was one time where I was working in the morning, I seen his car at the parking lot, and if I see his car there, for the most part, like, a lot of my coworkers already knew, my managers already knew. So whenever they would see his car, they would just tell me, Ash, go to the back. So again, if he were to walk in, he would never see me. After, I just ended up quitting because I got a better job opportunity. So I really haven't seen him. I did see a comment, people were asking me if I worked at Stater Brothers. Yes, it was the Stater Brothers. Now that specific Stater Brothers is closed, I honestly never seen this man ever again. One, I'm never really around that side of town anymore, and two, I remember when I quit, I still went to shop at that Stater Brothers, and a lot of my coworkers would tell me that he just never came anymore. So I feel like he kind of just left, and I don't know what he did or where he's at, or if he's still alive, but I'm glad that I don't have him as my stalker. I did see a question when someone said, why didn't you report it to security or to the police? I feel like nowadays you have to just have so much evidence for a police. Like, I did tell the police, and he was like, oh, that's just not enough evidence. Police nowadays just take action when something actually happens versus versus when you're kind of warning them and giving them a heads up that this situation is going on. So police never did anything about it. Security, they don't really take their job seriously. My managers couldn't really do anything, but they did know about the situation. They were definitely on my side. They were keeping me safe. But again, like, if police couldn't do anything about it, what really can my managers do other than the fact that they would take me out of the register or tell me to go hide? So they did do their part, which I'm super, super grateful for. That is the end of my story time of the time that I had a stalker, unfortunately.
Did I ever tell you about that influencer that took advantage of me and schmexually assaulted me? And she has multiple millions of followers? There's an influencer out there who lives on a bus. Used to travel on a bus with a boyfriend. Now lives on a property with a bunch of fucking buses. I went over to this bus commune. And she's telling me all these crazy stories that are not true. And I'm starting to sniff out someone that I wouldn't be friends with. There's one day that I'm basically just trying to escape from this place because it's impossible to get out of buttfuck nowhere. And she asks for my consent to do something to me, to which I say no. And she proceeds to do what she wanted to me. To which afterward I say, I didn't consent to that. She laughs. I leave the next day. Someone just comes and gets me because I was fucking scared. And after I'm gone, she's calling me. Why did you leave? She calls my friends that I'm with. And finally, I text her and I say, hey girl, you schmexually assaulted me. Get the fuck off my phone. I'm blocking you. I don't want anything to do with you. I didn't want to tell this story for a really long time because it made me really uncomfortable to tell, and I still get a little shaky about it because I did feel really vulnerable in that moment. And especially because she continued to follow me. I guess waiting for me to say something, I don't know. Because she would tell me that she would get fans to come to the commune and tell them that they can come hang out with them as long as they have a threesome with her and her boyfriend, and then made these young 18, 19-year-old girls sign an NDA. She then told me that I was going to have to sign an NDA, which I laughed at. This girl followed me for the longest time and then unfollowed me a few weeks ago. Now, this person is already starting to be disliked on this app, which is brilliant for me. Because now I feel like I can come out and say my shit, and I have other people who know what I'm talking about. I have like a fan of theirs who came to me and told me that they were also taken advantage of by these people. Ooh, I just cannot wait to hear what you guys are going to say to this. So if you're out there and you're watching this video, first of all, fuck you. Second of all, you cannot take advantage of fans. I do care what you do to me. But taking advantage of people who follow you simply because you have a following and these poor fucking people just want to come and hang out with you is fucking sick. And I hope you get help. And you need help. And you know you do.
I think I had the most miserable woman come into my work yesterday. I'm not even that mad about it because it's kind of impressive how she managed to be so frustrating at literally any given opportunity. Every single interaction was miserable with this woman. So I had this table with two ladies. I had just gotten their drinks and I'm walking back to the table to drop them off. And this third lady, the lady in question, is like standing 2 feet away from the table, like hinged at the hips, like leaning on the edge of their table. I'm like, interesting posture, but whatever. I'm sure she's just joining her friends. So I'm walking towards her. I'm smiling. I'm getting ready to greet her, like ask if she wants a menu or something to drink. And she just cuts me like the most disgusted look. Like she's just staring right at me. Doesn't smile, doesn't acknowledge anything when I say hello. So I just shrug. I'm like, well, if you're not my customer, I'm not going to talk to you. So I go to put their drinks down, and this woman just still doesn't move. Like, she is very clearly, plainly in the way, and she just doesn't care. When it comes time for me to bring their food out, it's the same thing. I've got 2 plates I'm trying to put down on the table, and this woman is still just taking up all that space, not moving, so I'm having to, like, snake my arm in and, like, put it down all weird because she can't be bothered to, like, stand up or even lean over. It's whatever. I ask my ladies if they need anything else after dropping off their food. They say they're okay, so I turn around to leave. This third lady, like, straightens up and is like, "Miss!" I'm like, "God damn it, what?" But I turn around with a smile, like, "Yes, ma'am?" And she's like, "You need to start offering some sample players if you want any damn business in here." What was that? She just starts mumbling all these plans off again, and she's like, "I should get some damn commission for all the people I send in here. Y'all should be paying me." I just looked at her and said, like, "Well, that's not your job. You definitely don't have to do that," and just turned around and walked away. So far, literally every interaction I've had with this woman has been unpleasant. 2 minutes later, I'm standing at the service station, and one of my coworkers comes up to me and says, "That woman at your table is so rude." I'm like, "You don't freaking say. Tell me, like, what happened? What'd she do to you?" My coworker tells me that she was trying to get past her to take food to her table. Her hands are full of plates. She approaches the woman, like, smiling, like, "Hi, excuse me." This woman, like, just grunts at her, doesn't even move. And then, whenever my coworker was on the way back after dropping the plates off, she had to pass that woman again, where the woman took the opportunity to say to my coworker, "That was rude. I'm sure you could have gone another way." Ma'am, what are you even doing standing like that, taking up that much space? Like, just sit down. So I catch my coworker up on my interaction with this horrible woman. We're talking shit. The hostess is walking towards us with 2 people that I know are about to be sat in my section. So me, being my little instigative self, I tell the hostess to seat them at the table that's right after that woman. So she's like, "Okay, my bad." She goes, seats them. 30 seconds later, she comes around the corner and she says, "That woman at your table is so rude." Twice within like 2 minutes. I'm like, "What did she say to you?" The hostess said, "She told me to smile. She said my job is not hard enough for me to not be smiling." So not only did this woman have the audacity to be a literal physical obstacle to us being able to do our job, but she still offered critiques on how we did our job. Like, please go be miserable somewhere else.
I have a news interview today. This account actually started out as a finance TikTok account, so I thought today I would get ready with you and tell you why I started posting about my body image. I've always liked finance my entire life. I am very knowledgeable about it. I find it very interesting, but I don't feel as if it's my sole purpose. Like, I don't love it. I have known my entire life that my passion is making other people happy and entertaining them, to be honest. My goal is to change the world. Whether it's changing someone's world, whether it's changing one person's mindset, I want to change the world. I want to make it a better place and make other people happy. I was really badly bullied in high school to the point where I actually changed schools, and I was at my most insecure state, and I honestly just thought life sucked. I hated myself every day. I thought life would never get better, and I had nobody to look up to. And I feel like a lot of this stemmed just from hating my body. At this point, I had never seen anybody post real vulnerable content about struggling with their body image. I'd seen a lot of people posting about loving themselves, but I was at a point where I hated myself, and I'm like, am I the only one who hates myself? Like, how is no one struggling with this? And how is everybody online perfect? And why don't I look like them? I started posting on TikTok in grade 12. It was COVID, everything was shut down. I was bored. Everyone was literally bored. I started posting finance content, but it really didn't fuel my soul. I was getting views and it was exciting, but it didn't fuel my soul at all. So on a random day in lockdown, I was feeling very insecure, and I'm like, you know what, the world could literally be ending. Like, I don't even know if I'm ever going back to high school, like, whatever. I'm just gonna post about my insecurities and see if I'm the only one who feels like this, because there is no way that I'm the only one who feels like this. So I posted my insecurities online, and I was so vulnerable. I remember posting the video and like literally chucking my phone across the room because I'm like, what the fuck did I just do? And thank goodness it ended up on the right side of TikTok. But everyone was literally relating to me in the comments, and they're like, thank you for posting this. I've literally never seen this before. And in that exact moment, my soul felt fueled. I was like, this is what I've been meaning to do my entire life. I've been waiting for this. 3 months prior to this, I remember bawling my eyes out in my bed to my dad and my mom and being like, I am so lost. Like, I literally feel emotional thinking about it, but I'm like, I'm so lost. I don't know what to do with my life. Like, I suck. I have no purpose. Like, why am I here? So from that day on, I made it my mission to help other people learn to love themselves. And I always put myself in the shoes of how I felt when I was in high school, that I didn't feel like I had anybody else online to look up to. I didn't feel like I felt genuinely so alone. Like I couldn't relate to anybody, and I always put myself back in those shoes, and I'm like, how does that girl feel? I don't want anyone to ever feel like that ever again. So if you follow me, if you've ever liked any of my videos, if you've ever watched any of my videos, know that you have changed my life, like completely. I have learned how to love myself through teaching you how to love yourself. This connection that we have, this account literally means everything to me.